In case you missed it, the Supreme Court released a decision on Grants Pass v. Johnson, a huge case on whether or not cities can ban public camping. I think the decision in this case is a massive victory, both for communities across our country, but especially for the men and women experiencing homelessness on our streets. The 6-3 ruling declared that it is not unconstitutional to have laws that make it illegal to camp on the street in your city. This removes the legal barriers that Martin v. Boise imposed previously and returns authority to local jurisdictions to figure out how they want to address homelessness and encampments. Let me read you a few headlines about this decision. In NPR, Supreme Court allows punishment for homeless sleeping. CBS News, Supreme Court allows camping bans targeting homeless encampments. Cal Matters, California homeless camps, Supreme Court okays a crackdown. These are just some of the headlines I've seen, and I've also seen heated statements and posts referring to criminalizing the homeless, banishing homeless people. Obviously, this is a charged subject, and I think we need to be really clear here. The Supreme Court is saying it's not unconstitutional, it's not cruel and unusual punishment to have a public camping ordinance in your city. They're not telling you how to do it or how to do it well, and that's the whole point of this decision. That is not the job of federal judges to decide the details of how a small town in Oregon addresses homelessness. There are bad and good ways to regulate public camping, just as there are bad and good ways to address homelessness. The fact is that now, thanks to this ruling, American cities have more opportunities, more freedom to respond to homelessness on their streets, not less. I think there are two wrong ways to view the Grants Pass decision. The first is to think that public camping bans will solve all of your city's problems in one fell swoop. And the second is to think that if your city has a public camping ban, they hate homeless people and want them to disappear. Both of those are wrong, and here's why. Banning public camping, or some variation of that, isn't going to be effective at reducing unsheltered homelessness at all unless you have the resources to use it as a tool to help people. I'm borrowing insights here from Discovery Senior Fellow Robert Marbit. The way that this is effective is if you have enough available beds at treatment programs to get people from the street straight into treatment and recovery, or you have resources to get people reunited with family where they can access treatment and recovery. But you also need enough capacity in your jail. And the idea here is that you're engaging people and giving them the choice between a program that can help them recover and successfully exit from homelessness or jail, which we know can also be a place for people to choose recovery. Just talk to the countless men and women who credit jail as the starting point of their life changing for the better. So without enough treatment and jail capacity, this kind of ordinance is not going to be useful at meaningfully reducing homelessness in your city. And the second way you can go wrong here is to think that if your city bans public camping, they hate homeless people, and that instead everyone should be able to live and sleep wherever they want to. We have so normalized people living in dangerous, unhealthy, undignified conditions, alongside freeways, in the middle of forests, on the sidewalks, vulnerable to a deadly drug supply, to violence, to sexual assault and trafficking. And allowing that kind of suffering to continue has just become the status quo. We've gaslit people into thinking that is not only normal, but a choice that no one else has a right to interfere with or question or reject. And so that's how you get activist groups handing out tents to keep people in these conditions. Just recently, we saw photos and videos of a 9-year-old boy living in an encampment next to the freeway in Seattle with his mom. And when outreach workers approached her, she refused anything they had to offer. Police haven't been able to do anything about this situation that we know of so far. This child did not choose to live in an encampment, and he suffers when no one in his life has the authority to get him out of that situation. So camping bans are not the shining cure-all solution. They're also not banishment either. Every city's goal should be to make it clear that being homeless here means getting immediate engagement and services, and that no one here languishes on the streets, by the freeway, or in the forest. Thank you to the Supreme Court for what I think is a just and compassionate decision on this issue, and I look forward to seeing cities use this new freedom for good.